This corn is coming from Africa. We have several farmers here who are from Sudan, Rwanda, Congo, Burundi. It reminds me, the taste reminds them of times past on a different continent. And we're fortunate to be able to offer this space so that these farmers are able to grow this food that's familiar. I work for Cultivating Community, and this is a nonprofit based in Portland, Maine. We are at Hurricane Valley Farm in West Falmouth. This is one of our 2 farms that we use for our farmers training program. This is for individuals who have moved to Maine, asylum seekers, immigrants, refugees, who have that farming background back in their countries of origin. One of the obstacles that they get is access to land. It's where I know how to farm, I'm excited about farming, but I don't know where to go. I don't know where to find a farm. And we take away that barrier and have them access this space at a sliding scale. People don't have to be wealthy to access this space. We do the necessary fundraising to bridge that gap. We do go to communities in Portland that are living on a low income housing, and we get to actually go door to door and talk to them and share this, let them know that these opportunities are here. All the way from there, the first contact, to them harvesting and freezing and the food and sharing with their families. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe I have access to that land. I can't believe I got to plant something that I haven't seen in years. So here we are at Deering Oaks Farmers Market on a beautiful Wednesday morning. This is Christine and Rebecca over there in that farm stand. Christine and Rebecca have graduated our farmers training program. Now they are growing vegetables and produce, and this is where they come and sell their produce and vegetables. Some of the cool things that are here that you might not find in a regular grocery store are okra. This is something that's very popular, especially for people who are moved here from, let's say, Sudan or Somalia, Congo, Gabon, and they're happy to have this organically grown okra, no chemicals. Another thing is amaranth. A lot of people are used to amaranth as decoration. They're bright red and they're beautiful, but there is an edible variety of amaranth that's very popular in other parts of the world, and they are able to purchase it from Christine and Rebecca.
Cultivating Community program is, I've been in it for a long time. They help me with a lot of stuff. The climate here is different from our climate. Back there we farming through all year round, so we don't have any problem like the cold, something like that. So now I learn how to know when the frost is coming, so that we can take care of all the stuff that we have.
We're here in Christine's high tunnel. So this is a high tunnel that we just put up this year, and she did a lot of amending of the soil. So she did a lasagna layer, no-till approach to growing food in this high tunnel, and you can see African eggplant growing and a lot of different varieties of tomatoes and okra behind us and roselle. So she has a lot of great plants and some beautiful jalapenos and different peppers coming up. I just love learning about different types of food. It's really fun to learn these new varieties of plants and always learning new cuisine.
The African eggplant is a little paler and smaller. You can eat it raw as a snack, a little bit of salt on it. That's one of my favorite things to eat. And you can also boil it in a stew or add whatever else you want to add into that stew.
I feel like I'm constantly learning from other folks, and it's fun. I mean, I think getting to be in a community, you are always a teacher and a learner, and that's really fun to see here, of people that are maybe from different parts of Africa sharing seeds or trading seeds or buying crops from each other that they're like, oh, I didn't know that was here in Portland, and just getting to see that exchange and feeling a part of that. Like every day I learn something new from John and Christine, and I love it, and I hope that I get to support them in the way that allows them to have a successful farm business.
I moved here from Burundi, and growing up we always had a garden in the backyard, and I got to see my mom tending to the garden, so I had that gardening bug. And also when I moved here, it's very easy to see how rampant fast food is, how it's everywhere, and that was a shock for me. And this was an opportunity for me to get back into a scenery that I was used to, into seeing food at its raw state. And also there's that food justice element of things that I'm very interested in. This is one way that I can make this food, this healthy organic food, not only available to people who are wealthy, but also to people who are in the minority, who cannot afford to go to those fancy grocery stores. And we have several programs, and all those programs are rooted into the idea that everyone should have access to good, healthy food. One is our community garden program within the city of Portland. Our second program is the schools program. Our other program is the youth program. Now that's a program where we get to partner with high school students. All these programmings, all the things that we do with the kids, with the high schoolers, with the farmers, it's possible because of generous donations from individuals and community members and local businesses. And this work would not be able to happen without their donations and their support and their accompaniment. If you're interested, if you would like to donate, I would like to invite you to join our work and support our work. And you can head over to cultivatingcommunity.org and you'll get the information on how you can contribute to this work, and we can work together.
At Native Maine, local is really all that matters to us. We source local where we can, and we take care of our local customers, whether it's restaurants, schools, or anything in between.
So as far as like what we get from Native Maine, we love hyperlocal. We're so fortunate to have the best produce seasonally. Any local amber dark maple syrup, we're going to use that as any sort of sweetener. We also use Pineland Farms corn for our elote currently.
We're a local business with local people, through local restaurants and into the local bellies of all of our constituents in the state of Maine.
Welcome back to Plate the State. We hope that you enjoyed learning about cultivating community as much as we did, and we are now back in Kennebunk at the beautiful Hancock Lumber Kitchen Design Showroom, and let's go see what Chef Josh is going to do with all that corn.
Hey!
What are you doing?
Well, look at all this beautiful corn, right?
Corn is one of my favorite. If it's on a menu, I will order it.
Right? Oh, I love corn. It's versatile, you can do so much with it. And in Maine, you know, being such a late harvest vegetable, it's so sweet right now. And it feels like the harvest moon just came out, right? So it's so great to have that.
Also one of my favorite songs.
So what I want to do is I want to make this recipe. Okay. I call it kind of like soufflé cornbread, you know?
Sounds very fancy.
It's not, another name for it, spoon bread. Okay, but it's a great way. It goes wonderful as a side component to any dish. It's really fun. But I want to show you a nice fun chef trick here. When we're gonna cut the corn kernels off the cob, I like to use a bowl. So the corn kernels seem to go everywhere when you try to cut them off. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna take my knife and slowly shave them off. Don't worry about making corn round, because we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But just get enough of the corn kernels off without cutting into the
I imagine the knife
cob.
has to be pretty sharp.
Yeah, your knife has to be pretty decent, pretty sharp. Okay.
So I won't reach in and grab some.
Don't do that. Okay, so now we have
So good.
some really good corn kernels here. Actually, Maggie, taste this corn and taste how sweet it is. Right?
It's so good. I mean, I would literally just eat that.
I know, right?
And actually, that's the recipe. It's just
Hold
a bowl
on.
of corn.
Hold on.
And actually, speaking of recipes, you can put your pen down. All of these are on our website at platethestate.com.
Okay. So now what we're going to do, this is a great kind of chef hack, right, that we would do to get as much flavor out of this corn that we can. So I'm going to take a spoon, and as you can see those like edges when we cut the corn kernels off, I want to scrape them out. And see, as I'm scraping that, I'm getting that like, call it like corn pulp, right? Like we're almost like milking the cob right now to get all of that flavor, all of that fresh like corn starch out.
Move over oat milk. There's a new milk in town.
Right? And look at this. And so what I have here is I've done some of this already, so we have a good start for our recipe. All right? Okay. And what we're going to do is we're not going to throw any of these things out. We're actually going to use some of the cobs as well.
Okay.
All right? Okay, so why don't you grab these?
Okay.
I'm going to grab all of our corn pulp, and let's head over to the stovetop, and I'll show you how we can use them.
Perfect.
All right. So in this pot, I have about 2 cups of milk and 2 cups of buttermilk, about half an onion, about a stick of butter, right? Now remember I said all the good stuff. I told you we're going to use those corn cobs. So I have some cobs in here, and they've been steeping for about 10 minutes, just on like a medium to low heat. We want to extract as much of that corn flavor as we can.
That is so clever. I've never seen that before.
Right? So we're going to take those corn cobs out now. But we're going to keep all that buttermilk and milk in there. Now we're going to add that corn pulp that we had, right? We're going to add all of that in there.
That's great. A little stir. So you're keeping this on a low simmer.
Keep it on a, yeah, basically like a low simmer. We're just kind of infusing it right now. And we want to do that for about another 2 minutes. All right, this is great. It's super combined now, okay? Now we're gonna turn the heat to about medium high, okay? We don't wanna get it too high because as corn cooks, it's gonna release that sugar, and that's where you can actually get a browner kind of, you know, caramel color out of it, all right? So what we have over here is cornmeal, some really fine cornmeal, a little bit of sea salt, some of our honey, a couple grinds of black pepper, and we'll put in some nutmeg.
Okay.
Okay?
So you want me to do that right now?
Yep,
Okay.
let's put that in, yep. Okay, so you want to stir this. Now that we brought it up the temperature, we got it really hot, we're going to turn it back down to about medium. We're all over the place with the temperature. And then you want to let this go for about 2 or 3 minutes. Just constantly stirring. It doesn't have to be aggressive stir, just more of just agitating, you know, so it doesn't burn on the bottom, okay? This needs about 1 more minute. Earlier, I separated some eggs. If you could go grab those, and I'll meet you over at the blender and whip them up.
I'll see you over there.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna put those separated egg whites in our mixer with a little bit of cream of tartar. And what that does is just helps the egg whites get nice and extra fluffy. And again, don't worry, all of these recipes and instructions are on our website at platethestate.com. We're gonna start this off slow and get that cream of tartar and the egg whites incorporated.
All right, Maggie, how are those egg whites looking?
They are done and perfect. Do you want the yolks too?
Yeah, you can bring them both over.
Just so pretty.
Perfect. Oh my God, look at those.
Did I do good?
Oh, chef. All right, so now we have our cornmeal mash. It's nice and it's warm. It's not hot anymore, right? So it's not gonna cook those eggs as soon as we incorporate them. So we're gonna dump the eggs in there. Those are the yolks. And I'm gonna add maybe about a cup and a half of fresh corn kernels that we cut off the cob.
I did eat a lot of them while you were.
Okay, so maybe like half a cup of corn, right. So I want to mix that up now. So now that mash is turning into our batter.
It smells really good.
All right. Okay, now we're gonna fold in the egg whites.
Okay, ready?
Yep. Oh, those egg whites, Maggie, are perfect.
Clouds.
Okay. Go ahead and dump those right in. Okay. And then when you put egg whites in, you fold it in, and by folding it in is you're incorporating a little bit of the ingredients from the bottom and slowly moving the egg whites around the rest of the batter. Because this is really the only leavening agent. There's no baking soda, there's no baking powder, there's no yeast in this. So we're just using the whipped egg whites is what's gonna give us that soufflé cornbread kind of flavor and feel. Okay? Look at that. Now we're gonna take this nice plate here. Okay. And then we're gonna pour this right into our soufflé dish.
So is it true, I think there's this rumor if there's a soufflé, you can't be yelling or jumping in the house, is that true?
Yeah, I mean, there's only the egg whites that are suspending this up. So I'm gonna put this into our preheated 375 degree oven and let that bake. So while that's in the oven, why don't we go over today's pantry tip?
Oh, that's a great idea.
We're getting there to sunnier days, being with the ones we love, and now with those you've missed. This is you remastering the art of life. And while you're getting back at it, we'll be here to help you master the art of money. Norway Savings. Live your life in color.
This week's pantry tip is brought to you by Norway Savings Bank.
Welcome to today's pantry tip, and remember all of these can be found on our website, platethestate.com.
Well, we're talking about corn.
Yeah.
So what better way of a pantry tip than how to preserve summer corn? So as you can see here, this is some fresh wheat corn that we got over the summer, and we put it in our dehydrator that Maggie and I have at home. And I just let it go for about 12 hours, right around between 170 200 degrees. It could go a little bit longer, but I like my corn with just a little bit of chew in it, okay? Maggie, go ahead and take a bite of that, right?
Now, if somebody doesn't have a dehydrator, could they do it in their oven?
Yeah, you can put it in a low oven, put it right on the rack so that it dries all the way around there.
Oh my God.
Now you can see how the temperature of the oven or the dehydrator, it wasn't hot enough to brown the corn. This is all the natural sugars that's in there, and it has almost like a caramel kind of flavor to it. So sometimes, you'll ask, okay, so now that I've dried it, now what do I do with it? Well, this is great. It can be stored up for ever. But what I like to do is make a sweet corn, like a creamed corn out of this. Oh, it's so delicious, right?
Yeah.
Or as you cook it down, you can make this, grind it down into a fresh cornmeal, Anadama breads, very New England bread, and you're adding all this natural sweetness to it from the corn itself.
Like
or you can eat it like that, yeah, definitely. But anyway, I thought this was a great way to showcase some of those great summer ingredients and how you can preserve them and for as long as you need to.
Oh, and it's worth it. This is really good. Thank you for watching today's pantry tip, and all of these can be found on platethestate.com. Hi, and welcome back to Plate the State.
Cornbread souffle is ready.
So excited.
You ready? Here we go. All right.
The smell is incredible.
Oh.
Ooh, and that looks perfectly done.
So you want to check, look at that little bounce that it has right there. That's what we're looking for. Put a little bit of salt on that. Just a little bit of that cracked pepper. Okay? And then that grill that you got me, I put that into some good use out in the Hancock parking lot here. I was grilling up some baby back ribs to go with our cornbread.
Well, we have a wall of people about to bust through and attack you sitting there.
So I'm gonna take a nice little spoon of that.
So literally that's why it's called spoon bread.
Yeah. Right?
Oh.
It's so light, it's like fluffy. Okay?
Ooh. A cornbread facial, I love it.
Okay. I'm gonna take some of these ribs on here. Oh, they're delicious.
This is all incredible. And you know how much we love seeing these recipes that you make in your own homes. And if you follow us on social media, at Plate the State, you can go ahead and tag us and we can see for ourselves.
I can't wait to see them.
I know. So when we come back, Josh is going to show a really cool chef's tip that shows us how to create a movie theater vibe in our own homes every night. I can't wait to see.
Super fun.
Okay.
Oh, the atmosphere here is exciting. It's pretty cool.
You won't find this selection anywhere else.
Say 4 pounds.
By far, we are the place that you want to go to buy the highest quality seafood that you can get.
90-some% of the restaurants in this neck of the woods use harbor fishing for good reason. Quality's never a question when you walk through the door here. You're always going to find it.
Hi, welcome to today's chef tip. This is one of the most fun chef tips of the season. So when Maggie and I go to the movie theater, she always takes my M&Ms and dumps them in her popcorn because she likes the salty and sweet. And so the kids and I developed this cookie recipe where we call movie theater cookies. So basically I just make a regular chocolate chip cookie dough recipe. You could try peanut butter, you could try sugar cookie, you can do anything you want. Dump in some M&Ms, leftover popcorn, or you could pop some fresh popcorn, and you just crumble up that popcorn into the cookie dough. Okay? Once you get a couple handfuls in there, you just want to mix it in. Ugh, just smelling this. I'm waiting for the previews right now. Okay, so once we get that, I'm going to get a cookie sheet tray. I line it with a silicone baking mat, but you could use a piece of parchment paper or just pan spray, whatever one you like to use. And then just take little scoops, put them down in there. Okay. We'll just take little mounds. And then now the cookie dough will help keep the popcorn stuck inside. But what I like to do for a little extra special treat is take a few more pieces and just kind of push them right in on top. And as we bake these off, I bake mine about 350 degrees, usually around 10, 11 minutes. And then that popcorn gets nice and crunchy and buttery. A great hint to do this is make sure you have buttery popcorn. That just really makes the cookies turn out so much better. So once we have all these, we're gonna pop them in our oven, about 350 degrees for about 10 or 11 minutes. So I made some earlier this morning, and I will tell you, these cookies, still nice and soft because of that buttery popcorn. They just look delicious. Thanks so much for watching. For all of our chef tips, just follow us at platethestate.com. Thanks so much, we'll see you soon.
Today's leftover ideas are brought to you by Town & Country Federal Credit Union, helping you stretch your food dollars.
Hi, welcome to today's leftover idea. All summer long, we've had so much corn. Maggie and I love it, the kids love it, but it seems like there's always leftover ears of corn in the refrigerator the next day. So we developed this recipe and we've been cooking it all summer, and it is just one of my favorites, so I can't wait to show you guys. So we have all of this corn. I put it in the oven, roasted it off, just about 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. Just a little bit of butter on there. So I have some scallions, some cojita cheese, jalapenos, some red bell pepper, some roasted poblanos, a little bit of pickled lime, some chopped up cilantro, Then I'm going to add a little bit of mayonnaise, a little bit of sour cream, some lime zest, and then the same lime that you zested, about half a lime's worth of juice. All right. And you want to give this a good mix. And if you haven't figured out yet, this is our street corn off the cob.
I love it when you make my favorite things.
Hey, what do you got there?
So for my wine pairing with this, and most of you are familiar with the sort of zesty sassiness of flavors of Mexican corn, I found this really beautiful wine at Rosemont. It's a Laje Pinot Gris from Oregon, and the really cool thing about this vineyard, it's all sustainable, and they don't use any electricity when they make their wines. It's all done by hand. They really like capturing that wine, how it was made hundreds of years ago.
Oh, I love that.
And it is light and fresh with green apple and citrus, and I think it will really complement but not overpower all the flavors going on here. Did you do a beer pairing? Do you want me to grab it? I'll grab it for you. Is it in here?
Yep.
Oh, Allagash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. So River Trip was one of my favorite summer beers, and just because it, you know, viscerally corn and summer and the Allagash, that all reminds me of those great times we had all summer.
Yeah.
But I like River Trip because it blends with really whatever it's, you know, you're pairing it with. It doesn't really overpower anything, and I think it gives the corn time to shine with that great beer flavor.
Thanks to all of you for watching this episode of Plate the State.
And thanks to Hancock Lumber for providing this beautiful kitchen in their Kennebunk showroom.
Please give us a follow on social media at Plate the State, and wherever your appetite takes you. Cheers, and we'll see you next time.
You ready?
Yes.
Is it good?
It's so good.
Hello, sunshine, won't you come in? It's been so long since I've seen that smile. Have a seat, some coffee.
These are really good.
Really?
What? And we're gonna go see what shashi. See.
Is that too big of a bite?